Hello. How are you? Abu, how are you? Eagle, how are you? You're very welcome. Ronald, you're very welcome. Hamo, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Corinthians, you're very welcome. So good morning. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Baba. Baba Ali, thank you for joining us. You're all very welcome. Good to see you all today. We're still continuing with breaking the cycles, and today we are specifically going to look at breaking legal grounds, closing doors that give lust power. Okay, now let's say a prayer. Thank you, Lord, for this morning. We give you all the praise, we give you all the glory, take all the honor and adoration. Yes, take full control of this session. We decrease that you may increase. Speak through me, Lord. Let your will be done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, so last week was basically we're laying the foundation for this whole topic: overcoming masturbation, overcoming lust, overcoming sexual immorality, overcoming things that hold us back. We were basically laying the foundation, and now we're going to go into very serious conversations. Let's first look at the power that addiction holds. Addiction holds power where there is unhealed trauma. That's the first thing. Addiction holds power where there is dishonor, especially in family systems. Addiction holds power where there is lawlessness. Those are patterns of rebellion, instability, or chaos. And then addiction holds power where there is shame, secrecy, and silence. Now, today we're going to specifically look at unhealed trauma. What do we mean when we talk about unhealed trauma? Yeah? Is there any one of you that has been experiencing unhealed trauma? And probably you've not talked about it, you've kept quiet about it, and you've been holding on to the trauma inside you, and it's unhealed. You're very welcome, Kim. You're very welcome, Blake Live. You're very welcome, Amito. You're very welcome, Ed Moment. Abdallah, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining this live. Abo, you're very welcome. Okay. You're all very welcome. Thank you for joining in. I really do appreciate you giving this time and coming in. So, when we talk about unhealed trauma is not just an event that just happened like a long time ago. It is a wound. It is a real wound. Okay? And you may be experiencing it right now, or it may be something that you experienced like a long time ago and you have been dealing with it. But it is a wound that was never acknowledged. It was a wound that was never understood. It was a wound that was never given place to heal. And it became like a shadow that has been following you from the time that you were a child to adulthood, into relationships, into your spiritual life, into your identity, into who you are. And if you're in your life, trauma did not just begin with the choices that you make. It may have come through betrayals. It may have come through violation of your rights. It may have come through some disorder that was actually forced on you. I'm giving you a background of what unhealed trauma is before we start going through the practical steps of how we overcome. Okay? So, were you exposed to things that no child should actually be exposed to? Were you exposed to things no man or woman, wife or husband should be exposed to? What situations did you experience that dismantled your innocence? that broke your sense of safety? What exactly created a crack in the foundation of your family? And you see, when this trauma is not acknowledged, if it's not acknowledged, if you're not aware of it, or if the people who caused it or the environments that you lived in, not anyone ever acknowledged it or protected you, it remains unhealed. If it's not talked about, it remains unhealed. And that's what becomes legal ground. That's exactly what becomes, that unhealed trauma opens up a door. So I want you to understand what unhealed trauma is, yeah? Because it will be easier for you now to identify it, point it out, and be aware of it. Did you grow up feeling rejected? You may have even been very lovable, but you felt rejected by how people show up with you, by how people respond to you, by how you see yourself. There is what they call the smell of reproach, and no one wants to come where you are. Have you ever experienced that kind of thing? Those are some of the things that we are throwing light on that brought the unhealed trauma. Have you struggled for favor? Have you struggled for acceptance, either in your workplace, either at home, either in your marriage, with your peers? Have you experienced situations where opportunities are even harder for you to come by? Like you're the one who goes for interviews and you fail. Or you wake up in the morning and the business deal that you're trying to, look for has been taken away. Continuous hardship. These are all characteristics of unhealed trauma. Okay? There's a deep-seated wound that now we need to throw out. Or we need to draw light on so that it can come from unhealed to healed. Have you ever experienced a situation where you're being attacked by people? I mean, the people who want to bless you are attacked. There's unhealed trauma there. That anyone who wants to bless you, anyone who tries to come into your space to bless you, they are attacked instead. Then that means that there's an open door that is actually attacking not only your identity, but is also attacking your relationships, your destiny. Those are symptoms of unhealed trauma. Have you ever experienced sexual torment, dreams of violation, basically urges that you don't ask for? It's not a weakness. It's not a weakness. The enemy exploits a wound that is unhealed, that is not restored. And if you do not become aware of it, and your innocence was never protected, and you still do not do anything about that wound, and it continues, it is an open door. So all these are characteristics of unhealed trauma. Have you felt as though something owned you or claimed your life? Usually this happens when it is generational and spiritual. You don't agree to it, but it kind of like has created a legal territory around you. That's what unhealed trauma does. Unhealed trauma will keep writing a story about your life until God reveals the root cause, which is exactly what we were talking about last week. We dealt with the root cause. I wanted you guys to do the homework, find out what is the root cause of this trauma. Now I'm giving you the characteristics of this trauma, and we need to understand it very well before we start applying the 6 steps that I am going to take you through. Yeah, this trauma, I want you to know that it did not start with masturbation. It did not begin with addictions. It did not begin with that sexual struggle. No, it began with dishonor that you never chose, and that dishonor may have happened in your family generations ago, but that I'm going to explain as we go on. It may have begun through sexual violation that you never wanted. It could have been rape. It could have been sexual molestation in school. That unhealed trauma. It may have begun with a family disorder that you actually inherited, that you did not create. But I want us to acknowledge and find out where this came from, okay? There could be spiritual legalities that were placed on you without your knowledge. Last time I hinted on covenants, okay? It may be that your identity was attacked from the time when you were a child. Now, what do you do? The things that you do that reinforce this trauma: silence, living in secrecy, isolation, fear, shame. The moment you start accepting these around you, you're reinforcing it. These are tools to open those wounds. And because you've not named it, it will keep giving the enemy permission to torment you, to accuse you, to provoke sexual urges you do not want. Trauma introduces chaos, instability, and rejection in your life. But the moment you name it, the moment you bring it to light, the moment you, like, for example, now I am teaching it. Okay? The moment you name it, the more you bring it to light, that legal ground breaks. And then you come from the point of unhealed trauma to healed trauma. And I would love to see a transformation for each and every one of you who has been experiencing unhealed trauma. Okay? I don't speak theory. I speak through experience and revelation, and this gives me authority in this area. That's why I keep saying, do not reject the problems that come to you. Sometimes the problems that come to you, it's because of a solution that is in you. And if you give it a chance, okay, and you become proactive about it instead of being reactive, and you say, what is the problem that I am experiencing? Okay, look beyond the challenge. Why did the challenge come to you? Could it be that God is trying to throw light in an area about yourself that you do not know? Either expose a weakness or reveal to you the abilities that are in you, the solution to that problem that is in you, but awaits your recognition. And then the problem keeps persisting. Why is it this problem persisting? Now you need to ask the right questions. Okay, why am I experiencing this problem? Then you start going to the roots. William Uche, you're very welcome. Interaction Art, Saeed, Nam Kenya, Shaya, Namatai, you're all very welcome to this platform. You're all very welcome. I really do appreciate. So trauma is not something that is emotional. It is identity trauma. It attacks the core of who you are. Remember, the last time we talked about identity, and identity is your essence, the core of who you are. Okay? It is not psychological. It is actually spiritual. It opens doors that give lust power. It's not personal. It can even become generational, because if you don't deal with it and you sit with that unhealed trauma, it's going to be passed on to the next generation, meaning your children, if you have children, or if you intend having children. If you don't move from an unhealed trauma to a healed trauma, you're going to pass it on to the next generation. That's what we talk about when we say it began in your bloodline. Trauma is not just a memory, it is a pattern. And if you sit down and pay attention to it, you realize that it actually has always been there. So until you rise up and you break it, that's when you overcome it. Now, I'll be honest with you, my unhealed trauma gave legal ground for the enemy to torment me. The enemy tormented me through rejection, tormented me through dishonor, cycles of hardship. But when God revealed the root cause of this trauma, the moment I understood it, the moment I became aware and acknowledged it and went through what I am going to take you through, the moment I acknowledged it and became aware of it and how it had mutilated my identity and gave me a personality that I was not. Because that's what trauma does. People will see you in a totally different light. That was when I rose up, I broke it, and that was when I got healed from it. But you can live in denial and think that you're not experiencing trauma when you are actually experiencing this trauma. So it's up to you to say, you know what? I'm saying goodbye to this trauma. So are we ready to say goodbye to trauma? First, we're going to have to acknowledge it. That's the first step we're going to take. Acknowledge it. If you are battling with addiction and you are carrying pain and you have not come to terms with it, you've not processed it, Ibrahim, you're very welcome. Daniel, you're very welcome. Amin, you're very welcome. Iam, you're very welcome. Sally, you're very welcome. Sammy, you're very welcome. You're all very welcome. Okay? So I've given you a brief background of the characteristics of trauma. And now I'm going to talk about, I'm going to take you through the 6 steps of how we can overcome trauma. Now, last week we talked about the root causes of these behaviors that overpower us, like lust, masturbation, sexual immorality, coveting another person's husband, coveting another person's wife. All these are sexually immoral behaviors. Okay, and we talked about getting deep to the root cause of all these. And today I have given you the characteristics of. I'm listing one by one. Okay, and I've started with unhealed trauma. I've taken you through the 4 areas that we're going to look at as the root causes of sexually immoral behaviors, which is unhealed trauma, dishonor, lawlessness, which is the patterns of rebellion, instability and chaos, and then shame and secrecy. Okay, now we are specifically focusing on unhealed trauma today, and tomorrow we shall continue with dishonor. First, we want to acknowledge that we are battling with an addiction. We are carrying a pain that we have never processed. And it doesn't disappear, by the way. It hides and lust uses it as an entry point. So if we acknowledge with all the characteristics that I have given you, if you can acknowledge it and be aware of it, the first way that you have acknowledged is by being available on this platform and acknowledging that, okay, I could be experiencing a challenge with trauma. Okay? So you need to be able, the second step is for you to be able to define and identify it. Define it. Define what is, I don't want to say your trauma, because when you say your trauma, it's like as if you are owning it. It's like as if you are owning it, and we don't want to own this trauma. But we want to be able to define it. Is it emotional? Is it psychological? Is it a psychological injury that has overwhelmed your identity? What can't you cope with? Are you struggling with emotional or psychological injury that you cannot cope with? because you need to understand what type of trauma is it. Is it sexual? Is it emotional? Is it coming from being neglected? Is it coming from abandonment? Is it coming from betrayal? Because when you have been continuously, it's like I'm watching a TV show. Why do you think you're watching a TV show? Why would you say that? Okay, you're not watching a TV show. You're actually you're in a class. That's what I should say. You're in a class, but you're all very welcome. You're all very, very welcome. We're back. I'm back to defining it. I've said the first step, acknowledge it, and the second step, define and identify it. Okay, which one is it? What are you struggling with? Is it sexual? Is it abandonment? Is it betrayal? Is it neglect? I want you to name it. That is the only way you move from being unhealed to healed. Okay. Moving forward, after we've defined it and identified it, let's give it a framework. Yeah, the third step is the framework of understanding. Yeah, trauma damages your identity. First of all, it creates an emotional void and it distorts your self-worth. And last will become the coping mechanism. I want you to understand very clearly. Last will become like the outlet through which you release your like dopamine. It's like a temporary relief that you last will be like a temporary relief from it. Yes, it does damage your identity. Thank you very much. Kramos. How do you pronounce your name? Kramoisi. Okay, let me call you Kram if it's okay, please. It does damage your identity. Thank you for that contribution. Yes. You may have identity crisis from it right now, but I can assure you, you're going to be healed from it. You're going to come from a point of unhealed trauma to healed trauma. Have you been able to identify the exact root cause? Because that's what we were dealing with last week. If you can find out the root cause, where it is coming from, then it will be easier for you to start taking the steps of how to heal from it. Okay, and you need to know you need to name it. You need to identify where it's coming from, and also, is it from your school or it's family in general? You think it's family in general. Okay, now that is a bit spiritual, and we've talked, and those are one of the areas that we're going to be covering. Like, it's generational, and that requires even more. That requires more. It's not like just betrayal from friends. When it's birthed from betrayal from friends, maybe sexual trauma, somehow you can find healing. But when it's generational, it requires more. It requires you almost offering yourself as a living sacrifice to actually go through the process. Yeah, I did go through the process. I speak it with experience when I talk about this, because mine was also generational. So when it's generational, it requires you absolute surrender, because you don't know where it came from, how it started, and this is information that you need, because anything that is revealed to you, anything that is exposed, you definitely are going to be redeemed from it. Now, when it is generational, it's going to take you time. It's going to take you time to giving a feeling vibe. Thank you. It's going to take you time to clearly understand where is it coming from, how did it come about, and then it will require you forgiving yourself and forgiving everybody else that actually opened this door for you, without taking things personal. Because if you take things personal, then it is going to hinder your healing process, or delay, or you're going to take longer healing. And those are things that we talked about last week. So let me move forward to lust becoming that mechanism that you're using it as a numbing escape. Yeah, it's like a coping mechanism. Yeah, a numbing escape. That's what we do when it comes to lust. There's something that triggers you to actually do things that you also feel are immoral. You also feel like they are devaluing you. I mean, why do you do it in hiding if it's normal? If it was not normal, if it was normal, you wouldn't do it in hiding. But it's not normal. That's why you hide and all. And there's a reason as to why you hide. It's because it's not right, right? Okay, so the fourth step is that unhealed pain creates a spiritual vulnerability, like a cram, the one that you've been talking about. Yes, it creates a spiritual vulnerability, which is a legal ground, and it attaches itself to those emotional wounds, and it builds strongholds. Now you struggle with those strongholds, and you don't understand, when did I open this door? When did I start going? When did I ever allow myself to get to this point? Where did this come from? And a stronghold, a stronghold is like, I'll give an example of Goliath and David, how Goliath was 100% sure that the Israelites could not do anything about the Philistines, because he was there. He was a stronghold, and he used to use divination, witchcraft. He used to use all those things that he was so sure there was nothing Israel could do. They were going to be their subjects forever and all. But then at the end of the day, David defeated Goliath, beat him down. That's what happens when you get to know the root cause. What am I dealing with? How can I deal with this? How can I pull this stronghold down? So if it has not yet become a stronghold, then it is easier for you to start the healing process. If it has already become a stronghold, you still can go through the healing process, but trust me, you're going to have to commit yourself to it. Because lust attaches itself to emotional wounds, and it builds strongholds. And trauma can keep you in cycles when the root is not yet healed. It keeps you in those cycles. You keep wondering what's going on here. If you don't deal with it, it will deal with you, trust me. Now you've seen, that's the fourth step. The fifth step is healing and restoration. And healing starts with naming the wound. That is becoming aware of it. You need to be able to release emotionally. How? You journal, you confess, you process it. Go through the process. Journal your experiences of how are you going on with your healing. Like today, what did you do? What are those activities that you carried out? What is it that you tried to do to hinder this from going on? You have to be able to release, confessing to one another. Get somebody that I would say trust, but a mentor is also a mentor would be a better option, because a mentor guides you in a way that as you're talking, you are releasing all your pain. You have somebody that you can release, that you can rely on to release all your pain. They don't have to be your friend, no. They can just be there for you and then guide you as you release, because they enable you to when you release, you are actually pouring out excess that needs to get out of you. You cry out everything, you confess these little daily things that challenges that you're experiencing, and somehow you find yourself, you'll answer the questions that you're asking because it's in you. And a mentor will only guide you. Okay, like be available for you to pour out. So go through the process, journal these experiences, confess, okay? Replace all the lies with truth. The moment you acknowledge, you see, when we live in denial, that is where also the challenge is. But replace these lies with truth and allow God to bring comfort. Allow Him to bring comfort to you. You need a supernatural experience, by the way. Trust me on that one. You need a supernatural experience. And only God can give you the comfort and heal you and heal that pain. Okay? Because you need to get back to your identity. You need to claim it back. Okay? Now, you need to also create those emotional regulations around yourself. Like, what am I going to, what are my boundaries? What am I going to accept and what am I not going to accept? Okay? In step 6, we're looking at the practical activities that I want you to carry out as you go through the healing process. Name your wound, and by journaling it, please, okay? Do like an emotional mapping exercise from everything that we have been talking about, okay? Go back to that inner child and get back to those questions and ask yourself, what exactly did I allow myself to experience? I want you to carry out a practical exercise. I'm actually now coming to the conclusion of this session of unhealed trauma. A practical exercise, I'm going to call it the open door audit. Now let me ask you a simple question. What experiences in your life may have created spiritual or emotional openings? What are those experiences in your life? What are those experiences in your life that created emotional openings? Can you share, if you don't mind? Cram talked about identity crisis, but where did it stem from? What are those experiences? Addictions, dopamine? Or you're asking, what are emotional openings? Okay. Emotional openings are like the doors that you opened. I think when I give an example, it would be much easier for you to understand. For example, when you are continuously betrayed by people, when you are continuously betrayed by either family, or you're betrayed by your friends, or you're betrayed at work. Like, I'm giving an example of one of the symptoms or characteristics or triggers that could have opened up you emotionally being wounded. When you are continuously betrayed, especially by people you trust, and you have probably had this one person, you've trusted them with your business, you've opened up to them, and you thought that you would trust them, yeah? The ones who are closest to you actually get to either steal from you or try to ruin your image with your clients. I'm giving an example. Try to ruin your image with your clients. Basically staining your reputation with your clients, and you trusted them in your business and you opened up all the secrets about your business. Now, that's a wound that has been opened up emotionally. That hurts. And if you hold on to that pain and you do not forgive yourself for the mistake that you made opening up to the wrong person, and you also don't forgive the other person for what they did, because you don't forgive them for them, you forgive them for you, so that you close that door. That's what I'm talking about, emotional openings. So what are those experiences in your life? I've given you an example of a betrayal at work for probably like a business owner. Okay, that happened to me. It could be an experience, any experiences that you've had. when Kram was typing about generational experiences, there are some legal grounds that the enemy can have on your bloodline or your family. And when there's a legal ground, for example, of affliction, and it's going to pain, sorrow, affliction, and it's going to, you find that each and every time you try to be happy, you fail to be happy, and you've seen it happening, cutting across with your siblings, cutting across with everyone who comes around you. You somehow, sorrow just keeps following you or something like that. You then start asking yourself, is there something deep-rooted that I have not named? Why do I see this this happening again and again? What exactly is happening? And that's something that you need to actually deal with. Yeah, that's something you need to say, you know what, let me sit down and do an analysis of this. Okay, Sally, you say you think for it's always being welcoming to everyone. And sometimes you need to have a limit. That's a very good experience. That's a very, very good experience. When you are very welcoming to everyone and you don't know how to sieve, you don't know how to discern who you need to actually open doors to in your life and who you don't need to open doors to, that could also lead to, that can be an emotional opening. Anybody else wants to name any experience in their lives that could have created an emotional opening? Because you need to think about it and name it. That is what actually brings healing for you. That's where the healing starts from. These small exercises that we are carrying out, and they are very practical because you have to be realistic. So as you think, if you want to share, that would be great. Moving forward, write down the boundaries that were broken when you went through these experiences in your life that opened up either spiritual or emotional, openings for trauma to actually exist and for it to get to have an impact on you. Choose it of radio, very welcome. Okay, so name the boundaries that were broken when you experience these things. Now, what exactly still feels like unfinished or painful? Some things you have overcome, right? But what are those that are unfinished? You also have to yank them out, lest if you don't, they will kind of like breed new wounds and then become openings for the enemy to use as triggers to create strongholds in your life. So let's carry out an identity assessment. I want you to identify one place where you are going to reclaim your authority today in regards to unhealed trauma. Remember, we are moving from unhealed trauma to healed, being healed from it, overcoming this trauma, because it's one of the things that is, we said all these lust, masturbation, sexual immorality, all those sexually immoral habits are only symptoms. Those are just the end results. But now we are going back to the roots, and back to the roots where one of the reasons that we're looking at is unhealed trauma. So can you identify one place where you're going to reclaim your authority? Or how do you get out of surviving mode? How you get out of surviving mode is you have to acknowledge and be aware of what is it that you are experiencing, and then say yes to a process of healing. Say yes to a process of, I'm not going to continue surviving with this, but I'm going to name it. Fatima, you came a bit late, but we were discussing how you can actually get out of that surviving mode. One, I'll just briefly take you through. You acknowledge it, okay? Whatever you're battling with, those addictions, acknowledge them. Because trauma doesn't just happen. No, there's a root cause for it. And whatever you're experiencing now, like the surviving mode, those are your coping mechanisms right now. It's like a wall of defense that you have built up. And then we've talked about defining it. You need to be able to define it. Is it sexual trauma? Is it emotional? Is it coming from neglect? Is it coming from abandonment? Is it coming from constant betrayals? Okay? Is it childhood trauma? You need to name it, identify it, and define it. Okay? After you've identified and named it, then you need to have a very clear understanding of how it has damaged your identity. How far in has it gone? What are those emotional voids that it has created? Okay? How far has it distorted your self-worth? Because lust only becomes a coping mechanism in this case. It's like a numbing thing. It's like I talked about dopamine, yeah? Like a temporary relief. So it's not like we're not focusing so much on masturbation, lust, and everything. No, we're going back to dealing with it. After you've had a very clear understanding of what you have named and identified and acknowledged, yeah, then you have to look at what is the legal ground that it's now having on you, that unhealed pain. What spiritual vulnerability has it created? Because lust can attach itself to you, and then it opens up emotional wounds and builds strongholds around you. Oh dear, sorry dear, so sorry about that. So sorry about that, Fatima. So sorry about that. I wonder why the relapse. But it's okay. Don't condemn yourself or don't feel so bad about it. The fact that you have actually acknowledged it, that you started therapy a year ago, you were going well, and then recently you fell over. Yes, that's a very good point. Can I tell you something? Let me actually encourage you. Everyone that you see in life here that has excelled in life has actually failed so many times. The ones that are genuine, the ones that have succeeded in a particular area. Yeah, if they take you through their stories, they'll tell you that I have done this, I have done that, I have done that. Like they've gone through a lot. They've gone through so many experiences before they could finally say, okay, now this is what truly brings out the real me. Okay, so failure is a good is a very good thing. Don't even look at it as a negative. Look at it as a positive that's going to reveal your strengths, your abilities, the beauty that is in you, yeah, that you could actually use to thrive. And it is also going to expose, those failures are going to expose the weaknesses, the areas in you that require improvement. So don't condemn yourself. Just say, you know what? And it starts with that, okay? It starts with acknowledging, and which is exactly what you're doing. And you're naming it, and you're having now a clear understanding of, now you're going to ask yourself, why did I actually relapse? What exactly is the root cause? Now it's time for you to ask those questions. Yeah? Why am I in cycles of trauma? Is there a root that I need to deal with, that I need to be aware of, that requires healing? Yeah? Okay? And then after that, you're going to go through a process of healing and restoration. If you name it, if you name that wound, now you need to release it. And you need to be very committed to releasing it no matter what. I talked about having a mentor, having a guide, and that's exactly what you talked about. You went through therapy, you go through different confessions, you go through the process basically of releasing it. No, don't say it's just not working. Don't cut yourself out. I know the frustration that you're feeling right now to say that it's not working. Oh, now you're feeling frozen in the middle of it. Okay, if you don't mind, you can come in my inbox and then I can help you. We can go through something step by step. I know you'll find healing along the way. Don't worry, you'll find healing. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I can imagine how you're feeling right now. And I don't want to be as if I don't understand exactly what you're going through, because these are things that I have also gone through by the time I'm speaking about it. Okay, so we were going through a very short exercise. We have exactly 10 minutes to go. We started the live late. We started almost like at 6:30, so that's why you see I've stretched up to 7:19. I usually do 6 to 7, but today we started late. Circumstances, unforeseen circumstances, but it's good we are here. And thank you guys for joining. Malik, Shiku, Livingstone, Jenny, Abe. Thank you, Abby. Do you pronounce it your name, Abby? Okay, but pronounce it very well. Thank you very much for joining. Shami, Olua, Ali, thank you so much for joining. Rose, Sarah, thank you all for joining. So we were looking at what is unfinished. Okay, you need to identify what is still unfinished. Please do identify what's unfinished or painful, just like I think Fatima, you have identified what is unfinished is relapsing, which is what we're going to deal with. So I asked you to identify one place where you can reclaim your authority today. Could be your mind, could be your emotions, could be your body, could be your choices. What is that one place where you're going to reclaim authority? Can you reclaim authority over your mind? Can you say, okay, now I choose to sieve what I think about. I choose to say no to some thoughts. I choose to silence voices that are leading me astray. Okay? In your mind. Are you going to take authority over your mind? Are you going to take authority over your emotions? Don't allow everything to just trigger you. There are people, places, and things and situations that can continuously trigger you into, for example, getting angry or taking offense. And sometimes when people are looking for ways of opening you up to attacks and wounds and all, they'll trigger you. So you have to be able to know what people know about you and what they use against you. And when you are in the know, then it will be easy for you to say, I choose to shut that off. I choose to shut that down. And those are emotions. What do you choose? Do you choose to be reactive or do you choose to be proactive the way you look at things? So what's that other place that you're going to reclaim your authority? Is it your body? Are you going to say, this is a no-no for my body, I'm going to respect my body? Or the choices? Could be the choices. Are you going to be in charge of your choices or your decisions, the decisions that you make? So you need to, this is an identity assignment where it's about you. It's about who you are, and who you are. Your mind is embedded in who you are. Your thoughts, your emotions, your body, your choices, your decisions, the people that you allow to influence you. That's what makes who you are, your character, your essence, your everything. So you need to choose today to reclaim an area of your life. That I reclaim this area, I take authority over this area. I'm not going to allow to be compromised in this area. Okay? So we can now make a declaration. I'll make the declaration, and I hope we can all make this declaration. I close every door that was opened through trauma. I reclaim my strength. That's a declaration I want you to make. I close every door that was opened through trauma. When you make that declaration, then that means you're saying, I am beginning the journey to come from being unhealed to healed. There has to be transformations. I have to take a serious step in my life to get out of this environment. An environment doesn't have to be physical, it can be within you. What have you accepted? What have you settled for that does not add to you, that does not add value to you? What have you allowed? What do you need to come out of agreement with? You can make a declaration. Okay? So that's it for our class today. Coming from unhealed trauma to getting healed. And this is one of the root causes of the habits that we find ourselves engaging in. It could be unhealed trauma. Tomorrow we're going to talk about dishonor. And trust me, you may think you have an idea of what I'm talking about when I say dishonor. But the moment there's any drop of dishonor, that could be one of the reasons as to why it can be a root cause of these symptoms that you're experiencing. Yeah, so unless anyone has anything to say, today this week we are mainly looking at the root causes. Lust, masturbation, sexual immorality, all these are just symptoms of something hidden that you need to acknowledge, you need to name it, you need to define it. Is it emotional? Is it spiritual? Is it a childhood trauma? What is it? Today we've been dealing with unhealed trauma. It's a very broad topic, but this is for us to start the journey of healing. If it's trauma, at least I've given you an overview that you can start with. Okay, so unless anyone has anything to contribute to that or any question to ask, I think people were asking us what discussing, so I guess we have all had a very deeper understanding. If you've been dealing with trauma or if you're dealing with trauma, it's time for you to do serious reflection. Sit down and do reflect. Please do reflect. It'll be good for you. Okay, so tomorrow we deal with dishonor. Thank you so much for coming. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. And God bless you. Oh, thank you, Sally. I'm glad that you joined. I'm glad that you all made it. I'm glad that you put time aside to do a reflection for yourself, because at the end of the day, it's for yourself. It's for yourself. This is for your personal development, for your personal growth. You're moving forward from one step to the other. Thank you so much for coming, and may God bless you. Have a very beautiful day. I hope your morning will be beautiful and your day will command this morning to be peaceful, to be a day of beauty, love, happiness, joy, and may you be favored, may you be honored wherever you go, may you be blessed, may you be a blessing to another person. It's nice to be kind. Please be kind. Please be kind. Thank you so much, and see you tomorrow, same time, 6 a.m. Bye-bye.